One of the game's best, Mr. Rich Mitchell, about to get this one underway. 3 5-minute rounds if they need them in the Cage Warriors bantamweight division.
Kai, you ready? You ready?
Yohan Salvador in the yellow, Yohan Prabowo in the black. I expect a fast start here. Good counter shot there by Prabowo.
Yeah, aggressive start from both.
Beautiful body lock there, goes for the takedown and immediately gets reversed.
Straight to work with the elbows though from Prabowo.
Yeah, I like the way he's keeping his hips raised. It shows he has an active guard. I'd like to see him go feet on the hips, create a bit of space.
Yeah, here's the thing, he's cutting an angle really nicely as if he's in full guard position, but he's only in a half full guard position. You can see that right foot trapped on the inside, so if he wants to have any chance of attacking off of his back here, he's going to have to remove that right foot. You can see that right hand pushing against the left leg of Salvador. He's trying to free that leg so he can get into the full guard position, but he's only getting put further back now into half guard. And this is a great position for Salvador on top to right by the fence here to try and do some damage if he wants to.
I hate when fighters are on the bottom and they're in that, you know, they're throwing that left hand over the head and they're just keeping that fighter there on top. You got to be pushing on the hips. You got to be looking for the underhook. You got to be shrimping your hips.
Yeah, Prabowo is trying to, not aggressively, but you can see that frame with the right forearm across, and there you're into the guard position. Now he's back to where he wants. He can start cutting an angle here and looking to possibly throw the legs up. I had a feeling, by the way, that he had those hips raised, like you said, Paul, that he's going to try and cut an angle here, throw those legs up for an armbar. And there you can see angle change here. He's looking to turn off to the side. But so far, Salvador's doing a pretty good job of not putting his arms in the wrong spots, feet on the hip, and gets back to the feet.
Very nice.
An immediate takedown by Salvador again. Salvador was liking that top position. He was liking making Prabowo work.
Prabowo's going to make sure those elbows have got a bit of curvature on them. Cannot throw the straight down 12-6, but a little bit of a curve is okay.
Hands around the legs now. He tried to pass straight into the mount position here, but gets put back in the butterfly. Prabowo doesn't want to play that butterfly guard. He goes back to the closed guard position, and I expect to see him go both feet on the hips again and kick back and try and stand up again.
I can't exactly see the angle, but it looked like Prabowo was reaching over for an over-under grip on the arm on the right side and looking for a straight arm lock.
You can see that kick there to try and get back to his feet, but Salvador does a great job. He grabbed the legs, actually, and moves straight back into position, back in the half guard now. And I just think Salvador's going to stay in this position. He's going to throw some elbows. He's going to throw some punches.
And I'm sure he assumed coming into this one, going up against a wrestler, he'd maybe planned to keep this one on the feet, but he's obviously found a vulnerability here with Prabowo on his back. He's been able to chew up the clock and land some shots here, running away with this first round.
He's doing good work on the bottom. Like, I mean, he's not letting Salvador tee off on him. He is defending well, but at the minute he's just defending. He's not escaping.
Yeah, he's doing the right stuff, but he's starting to slow down in how aggressively he's trying to defend. This is looking very different to how it looked the first time we saw this position 2 or 3 minutes ago. We're seeing very little in terms of framing with the right arm. Instead, he's trying to work directly on controlling the arms. But you can't really control the arms here. You've got to try and get back to a stronger guard position. There's no threats off at the back.
Big elbow there from Salvador on top. Fury just calling for his man just to get his hips out. There we go, gets knee shield, trying to compress it up to the single leg.
Yeah, trying to wrestle up from this position, and he's in a good position to do so. And finally hits that reversal, takes top position, and Salvador's going to take that whizzer and stand back to the feet. Only 30 seconds left in the round.
Yeah, Prabowo would have to do something incredibly special here to even up the scorecards, but perhaps a bit of a moral victory for him, just knowing that he is able to get out from those bad spots now. Salvador separates.
Watch Salvador look for the shot here. Big right hand instead. Prabowo certainly doesn't look as light on the feet at the end of the round as he was in the first.
Nice right hand from Salvador right at the end there as well. I don't know, I think Prabowo, after getting reversed in that first round, I'm not sure if he does. I think he's going to be a little bit more cautious than Salvador is, but...
Salvador looking light on the feet.
And beautifully done. Off of the right hand, he gets the outside trip. And it looks like he's going to try and, for a second, look like he was going to pass straight into the mount, and almost looked like he didn't want to take the mount position. He wants to be in the half guard position here.
Half guard's great position for just teeing off, sitting.
Exactly.
You can tie up hands, you can tie around the waist and let one side go. For ground and pound, half guard is where it's at.
Well, I say that, but for a second there, we see that elbow of Salvador actually looked like he was going to try and pass that leg, and Prabowo used this wrestle-up position to get to his feet, and I expected him to do the same. And interesting to see Salvador not really punishing him too much as he gets to the knees and stands up. I mean, there's opportunities for back take, there's opportunities for front headlock stuff. Another takedown comes from Salvador.
I thought he was going to go up over the shoulder with the hands clasped.
Back inside of the close guard now. We saw some nice kind of the angle in the first round. I wonder whether, I mean, Prabowo looking so much more fatigued than he did in the first round, so I'm not sure if he's going to go pure defensive stuff, try and get the feet to the hips and try and create some space and stand, or whether he's really going to use some offensive work off of his back in order to try and elicit more of a big reaction from his opponent and try and stand up or make a transition that way. So far, far less active on his back.
You hear the referee there just issuing a little warning for activity, and immediately there we see Prabowo able to pop back up with a beautiful trip.
Salvador's takedowns have been absolutely spot on this fight.
He's got a wrestling game.
He really does. And Prabowo very much looking for just one thing from inside of this closed guard, and it's to get the feet on the hip. Even those elbows that we were seeing the first time, they slowed down significantly. He's going to try and get the feet on the hip again and try and stand back up. And we did see him look to wrestle off of that stand-up in that last little exchange, but Salvador is just 5 steps ahead of him when it comes to these wrestling exchanges. So you can see that right foot coming onto the hip, left foot is coming in, and he's going to try and kick him away, possibly try and wrestle off of it.
Salvador, no stranger to fighting here in the UK. This will be his 3rd.
You can see he's trying to make that angle again. But he doesn't have the arm trapped for the arm bar. He's just holding the head and trying to make the angle with his feet.
No, he doesn't want the arm bar. He just wants to get out of this position, but the urgency is just not there anymore. I think this pressure for 2.5 rounds on the ground here underneath Salvador is really starting to eat away. You can see him trying to get the feet on the hips again, and he might get it.
And again, a warning from the referee there.
And Salvador actually standing up there, and you could see Prabowo actually look to come up just for a second. He wants to take top position, but Salvador's giving him absolutely no chances to do so.
Salvador going to have to stay busy here, and he does. Great work there from Prabowo to kick his man off, but can he do some damage on the feet now? I've got to say, Salvador has looked the sharper of the two in these striking exchanges when we've seen them.
And when the way that he's mixing up the striking with the takedowns has been incredible.
Corner calling for the right uppercut from Prabowo. Maybe they want to catch Salvador when he dips that head for the takedown.
Big right hand there from Salvador.
Prabowo taking that one like a champ. Little left hook there as well.
Yeah, Prabowo just winging these shots, and Salvador's just timing them really well when he is going for a double leg shot himself. So I'd expect Salvador to do a shot now when Prabowo throws out one of those looping left hooks. Looks like he's waiting for it because he's not stepping in with any of these punches.
Nice low kick from the Indonesian fighter there. And we've reached the end of the second round. Yohan Prabowo with a lot of work to do in this third, Paul. You know, Paul, I've spoken to many fighters over the years, and one of the things they tell me about these kind of fights where you're just getting taken down over and over and over again, it's demoralizing as much as anything else.
That was the way I used to fight back when I did fight. I was a heavy pressure wrestler fighter, and when I used to talk to guys afterwards, they would say, I would get back to my feet, I'd go back down again, get back to my feet. By the third or fourth takedown, you're done. You really are done. I think we've seen it there at the end of the first round from Prabowo. He just hasn't recovered from it.
It's the warning there for Prabowo to keep those fingers closed when he moves his hands forward.
I think Prabowo knows himself. He looks to be inching forward on top of Salvador. But
well, he knows that he's going to need to finish this round if he wants to win the fight. The huge reactions to every movement that Salvador makes.
Close your fists, both of you, close your fists. Stop. Time out. Tell him to close his fists. Both of you, close your fists. Both swinging with your hands open. Go.
And as we saw, that's the translator needed to relay that instruction to Prabowo. Both fighters, though, warned for it. Back to the action, though.
I'm surprised that we haven't seen a takedown attempt. There we go. Right on cue. Big pickup here, and slam's going to come. Beautifully done. Prabowo immediately trying to get the feet back on the hips. He's only looking to do one thing off of his back since the first round, and that's stand back up.
But he hasn't went for any shots, double leg takedowns himself. He's been going from it from the clinch work, so I'm not too sure if it's Greco freestyle or what type of wrestling that he knows from Indonesia. But he's certainly not looking from it to do it from an outside standing position.
Yeah, it's got to be some sort of clinch-based grappling style, and what I'd like to see from Salvador is use these opportunities with this open guard position and start to try and advance. I mean, I know from a strategic perspective, stand inside of closed guard and landing some ground and pound, or passing the half guard and landing from ground and pound is strategically a very smart move. But I think when you've been, I'd love to see Salvador go to try and get a bit of a finish here. He has been dominant for the entire fight, and as we go into the last half of this last round, I'd love to see him pass. I'd love to see him try and get to a more dominant position, possibly even go for a sub.
Yeah, I don't think it's because it's not one for trying. I just don't think he has that much in his arsenal. I'm saying that he goes to the mount.
And that's the first time we've really seen an attempt. And here's a takedown return attempt by Prabowo, but easily defended, just shrugged off by Salvador.
But I do have to say, any inch that Salvador has been given Prabowo, Prabowo is out the back door, and he's back up to his feet at every turn.
Yeah, he has done a very good job of getting back to his feet.
Nice body kick there from Yohan Salvador.
There's the shot, and again, successful. It's got to be something like 7 or 8 takedowns for Salvador in this fight. And I think we're probably going to see out the rest of the round and the rest of the fight play out inside of this position with some ground and pound from Salvador to secure a pretty dominant decision victory.
Watch your head there.
Still warning for using the head there from Yohan Salvador. Accidental, I'm sure, but he's going to have to watch that one.
Yohan, watch your head.
Big shot with the left hand. Prabowo trying to fire off some short elbows there. Looked like he was looking for an omoplata there briefly.
Yeah, he's a little bit hitting that angle, thinking about threatening some submission, but he's not really committing to it at all. I can't see it happening. Considering how he's been off his back for the last 2 rounds, I can't see anything happening here.
I think he knows there is an omoplata if you go for it, but he just doesn't know how to go for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, Prabowo just really doesn't have any answers for Salvador off his back other than getting the feet on the hips and standing back up, and a very dominant and impressive performance from Salvador.
Well, ends it with an elbow to punctuate the performance.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of mixed martial arts action, we go to our judges' scorecards. All 3 judges score this contest 30-27 in favour of your winner by way of unanimous decision in the blue corner, Yohan Salvador.
And you can see how much that win means to Yohan Salvador.